I'm very excited to present to you day 3. Now, if you joined us yesterday for day 2, you already know something that most people never figure out. That is, I should say, precisely how to land a partnership as a shadow operator. You literally have the entire system to close creators, the audit, the game plan, the outreach to actually get them to say yes, with 99% of the work done for you by AI. But there's one question left. Okay, Eman, I got creators say yes. Now what? How do I actually make money? That is what today is about. Learning how to turn followers into money in your bank account. Because the moment you close that first creator partnership, you're sitting on a gold mine. And the only thing standing between you and that multiple 5-figure shadow operating partnership is what I call the sales skill illusion. Most people hit this point and freeze. But Eman, I don't know how to sell. I'm not a salesperson. How am I supposed to convince hundreds of people to buy? That's a trap. So here is what you need to understand. You don't need to sell. You need to monetize. Okay. Selling is a skill. It takes years to learn, years to develop. You need charisma, persuasion techniques, objection handling, closing tactics. Okay. But monetization, that's a formula, a proven sequence you follow step by step that turns attention into money. You are not developing a skill. You are executing a system that does the convincing for you. Think about it like this. And here is the real beauty of monetization. Okay. Remember the math from day 1. You can literally get 99% of the audience from your creator to completely ignore their content and you will still make serious money. We expect 99% of people to scroll past. We expect most people not to buy. Now, let me tell you, there are dozens of ways to launch a digital product for a creator. Okay, inside of Monetize, our clients apply 17 different monetization strategies, 17 proven ways to turn audiences into customers. And there's one we tell every beginner to start with. Why? Because it is the most reliable and easiest to execute and the most beginner-friendly method that there is. And the thing is, it's pretty much always works. Okay, when you need something that gets the job done, this is it. Look. You know by now that most people consider me and my team the #1 in this digital product industry. And honestly, just modesty aside, I believe that we are. Okay, we've generated over 100 million in digital product sales. We broke every record on WAP. Most cash collected in 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days, twice. We've collected over 8 figures in a single week using a very specific monetization strategy. And this strategy I'm sharing with you today is built on top of the exact same principles of the strategy we applied, the same 3 phases that work regardless of whether your creator has 5,000 followers or 5 million. The only difference in a format that is 10 times more simple to execute, all executed through Instagram stories. It is called the 14-day Instagram story sequence. And the best thing about this strategy is that you don't need to know how to use social media or even have any personal presence on Instagram to make this work. You just need the system and the ability to mostly copy and paste the steps that I'm about to show you. Now, the real value in what I'm going to show you today is I've figured out the psychology already. I already took care of the difficult part for you, and I'm just going to give you the final result. Think about it this way. If you needed to pass a test and I give you the answers, you don't have to know why A or B or C is the answer. Okay, you just have to know that for question 12, B is the answer. For question 14, D is the answer. So to follow this methodology, you don't need to be creative. You don't need to figure out what to post, and you don't even need to know how to sell, okay? You just follow the recipe. Day 1, you post this. Day 2, you post this. Day 3, you do this. It's pretty much like following turn-by-turn GPS directions. You don't need to know why you are turning left. You just need to follow the instructions and arrive at your destination. So this way, at no point in time do you need to ask yourself, what do I need to do now, okay? By the end of today, you will walk away with the full playbook ready to execute the moment you close your first creator partnership in any niche. And again, I make a point here to remind you that if you are asking yourself, well, if this is so powerful as you say it is, why are you sharing it with me? It's simply because the more you sell, the more money I make. Okay, that's what's in it for me. Back in episode 1, I already told you that I'm a co-owner of WAP. Remember, I invested a very large part of my net worth by writing a massive check last year to become a co-owner of WAP, the fastest growing digital product platform in the world. The platform where all of these digital products we've talked about get sold and delivered. Now, here's something that most people don't know about WAP's growth. It took our users 4 years to earn their first $1 billion, 4 years to hit that milestone. Do you know how long it took them to earn their second billion? 6 months. Let that sink in. 4 years for the first billion, 6 months for the second. Our users are seeing more success than ever before selling digital products, especially the ones who have an audience that they can monetize, which is exactly what our formula today allows you to do. And here's why that matters to you. The more you use this formula, the more you will earn. And if you sell through WAP, the more I earn as a result of it. Okay, our model works off of performance. So the more you guys make, we take a very, very, very tiny percentage of that. Similar to how private banks work. The richer their clients get, the richer they get as a bank. When you succeed, WAP grows. When WAP grows, I win. Okay, our incentives are perfectly aligned. I only win when you win. It's that simple. So the target for today's session is very, very easy. Get you ready to use this formula yourself. And by the way, if you want to find a way to have me answer your questions at any time, 24/7, so that way you are never stuck without knowing which direction to go, we've also added a very, very special bonus that will help tremendously in implementing all the stuff that we've covered here today. At first, we weren't actually going to put this here, but because of the results our current users are having with this, I believe that this can be truly helpful beyond any training I could ever give you. But anyways, more on that a bit later. Now, let's dive into the complete 14-day Instagram launch formula. The reason we're going to be using Instagram is that it doesn't require highly produced content to work like YouTube, for example. All right. So it's the easiest way for you to get started. And inside of Instagram, we'll also be using the story feature because it is the easiest content format to create today. The creator is already posting them. It's been proven to be the best way to apply the sequence that I'm about to show you. This 14-day sequence is organized into 3 specific phases, each building on the previous one. If you miss a phase, you lose a ton of persuasion power. If you follow all 3 correctly, buying becomes the next logical step for the creator's followers. The first phase is warm-up, days 1 to 3. This is where you create a curiosity and gather intelligence without selling anything yet. You're getting people curious, you're making them pay attention, and secretly gathering information about their objections, desires, and problems. Think of it like lighting a match. You're creating the first spark. The second phase is value delivery, days 4 through 9. This is where the real magic happens. 6 consecutive days where the creator delivers massive value to their audience before you ask for anything. The creator teaches them, helps them, shows them what's possible. And by the end of day 9, the creator's audience is not thinking, is this product worth buying? They're thinking, when can I buy this? Okay, this is like adding fuel to the fire. The spark becomes a flame. The third phase is the one our clients inside Monetize called the money days, days 10 through 14. This is where we turn all that into anticipation into action. The doors open, the money hits your WAP account. And because you did phase 1 and phase 2 correctly, people are ready. They've been waiting for this moment. You are not convincing them to buy. You are simply giving them access to what they already want. This is like throwing gasoline on the flame. The fire explodes. Each phase flows into the next. It is a chain reaction. It builds momentum all the way to day 14. Now, here's where this gets super powerful. Remember earlier when I said all of this is like following a recipe to cook some scrambled eggs at home? Well, those ingredients are what I call the psychological buy buttons, and there are 11 of them. 11 psychological buy buttons that control every purchase decision a human being makes. And inside this formula, we've triggered all 11 of them, one at a time. Quick spoiler, buy button number 5 and buy button number 10, those are the most powerful ones in the entire formula. And when you activate those 2 correctly, sales don't just increase, they explode. Now, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, okay? There will be moments when you feel overwhelmed, when your brain starts to hurt a little, when you think, wow, this is a lot of information. That's normal. That's actually a good sign. It means that you are learning something real. But here is what separates people. Sorry, guys. 1 sec. I am just... There we go. But here's what separates people who succeed from those that don't. The ones who succeed push through the discomfort, okay? They stay until the end. They power through the overwhelm. Because by the end of today, if you stick with me through all of this, you will have a superpower. The superpower of turning other people's audiences into money in your bank account. So here's how I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through this. You know, when you go and you start driving to a place that you haven't been to before, and you check the route on the GPS beforehand, okay? So that way, you know what it looks like. That's basically what I'm going to do with you here today. I'm going to walk you through the route so that way you know exactly what it looks like. Now, you don't need to come up with the route yourself or know, the entire route from the top of your head and when to take each turn. The GPS does that work for you. Just like here, you don't need to know how to actually activate all these buy buttons yourself. The AI is going to do all of that work for you. You simply click generate. So, with that being said, are you committed to spending the next 45 minutes going through this framework, even if it takes pushing through a bit of pain and overwhelm? Because if you are, everything changes for you after today. Type I'm ready if you are ready to go deep and start learning this system. Looks like you guys are excited. Well, let's go ahead and dive into phase one, the warm up. This is days 1 through 3. Imagine this. What do you think makes more money? Offering a product to someone straight up or getting them curious and interested first? Think about it for a second. When someone offers you something immediately, what happens? Your guard goes up, okay? But when someone gets you curious first, gets you engaged, by the time they mention the product, you're already leaning in, okay? And that's exactly what phase one does. Here's the key question you need to answer during these first 3 days. How do I make them curious about what's coming without having it feel like they're being sold to? And that is the art of the warm-up phase, creating curiosity and gathering intelligence without making it feel like selling. You are lighting the match, you're getting people to pay attention, you are setting the stage for everything that comes next. Now, let's dive into day one, the foundation of everything. And here is what's counterintuitive. Most people think that the first step is to start talking, to teach something, to show value. That's actually wrong. The first step is to start asking questions. Day one is about one thing: the survey. The creator isn't posting educational content yet. They are asking their audience questions. And here is why this is so powerful. There is a psychological phenomenon researchers at Harvard call the IKEA effect. I'm sure all you guys know IKEA, right? The furniture company where you buy a box of parts and then you assemble it yourself. Here's what the researchers found. People value furniture they assemble themselves 63% more than identical pre-assembled furniture. The exact same table, the same quality, okay? But if you built it, you think it's worth 63% more. Why? Because when you invest effort into something, you value it more. So when someone invests their time answering questions, when they share their struggles and desires, when they put effort into telling you what they want, they become emotionally invested in whatever comes next. And that is what we call the investment buy button. The day one activates it through a simple survey. The creator posts an Instagram story with a Q&A box sticker. So here's basically what this sequence looks like. Something along the lines of, I've been thinking about something lately, or I see the same pattern over and over, or guys hitting the gym 5 to 6 times a week, but still frustrated with what they see in the mirror. They think it's their fault, okay? I've been working on something, a complete method, but before I finalize it, I need your help. I wanna make sure I could cover exactly what you need. What are your top 2 questions about X or Y? This entire sequence is fully created for you using AI. With this, after day one, you're not guessing anymore. You have the exact words, the exact struggles, the exact desires. If a creator has 30,000 followers and just 5% respond, that's 1,500 people who just invested their time and energy into this. 1,500 people who are now committed to seeing what comes next. 1,500 people who will feel like the product was made specifically for them. Then, on day 2, we use all of that feedback to create the most powerful feeling in marketing, the feeling that someone truly understands you. You're going to get a few responses in the Q&A box. Now, here's what most people do with this information. Nothing, okay? They skim through a few responses and continue with whatever content they had already planned. That's a massive mistake, but not you, okay? You are smart. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna feed all those answers into specialized AI, and it's gonna create your entire day 2 sequence for you based on the audience's exact pain points. So that way, you talk exactly on the pain points that they told you about. And then you get something like this. Okay, look, guys, you flooded my DMs yesterday. And then you get the exact answers to your audience's questions generated for you. Day 2 is about showing them that you actually listened. Now, researchers studying therapy found something very fascinating. They found that the number 1 predictor of successful treatment isn't the technique, it's whether the patient feels genuinely understood. That is the identification buy button. You see, after 2 days, they're no longer random followers. They are individuals who feel heard, okay? Day 3 is where you transform those individual connections into something more powerful. The final day of the warm-up phase. You transform scattered individuals into a unified movement. Think about watching a football game alone at home. It's entertaining, you enjoy it. Now, think about watching that same game in a stadium with 50,000 people. Same match, same place, same outcome, but the experience is completely different. The energy is amplified, the emotions are contagious. Every goal feels 10 times more intense. Why? Because you are not just watching anymore. You're a part of something bigger yourself. And that is the community buy button. When people feel like they belong to a group that shares their struggles and desires, everything changes, okay? They don't want to miss out on what the group is doing. They don't want to be the only one left behind. The creator shows them that they're not alone. They showcase the massive response from days 1 and 2, screenshots of DMs, engagement numbers, and real comments from real people. Then the creator addresses the most common questions or objections that came up and answers it directly with value, with expertise. This builds authority. Finally, they tease what's coming next. Based on the massive response from the last few days, I made a decision. Starting Monday, I'm dedicating an entire week to this. After day 3, here is what I've built. Day 1, they invested by sharing their problems. Day 2, they felt understood because you listened. Day 3, they became a part of a tribe waiting for what's next. The warm-up phase is complete. The match is lit. Now, let me ask you something. Remember how earlier you were worried about not knowing how to sell? Well, these 3 days have done all the setup we need. Investment, identification, and community, all activated before you ever mention a product, which means when you do mention it, you are not convincing strangers to buy. You are giving access to a tribe that's already emotionally invested in the solution. That is the difference between begging people to buy and having them ask you when they get it. That is why phase 1 is so powerful. Now, phase 2 is where the creator delivers massive value. Here, we're turning that warm fire into an unstoppable blaze. This is where you romance the market. Think about it like dating, okay? You wouldn't propose on the first date, right? You wouldn't take time to build a connection. Sorry, I was gonna say you would take time to build a connection, show them who you are, as well as demonstrate value. And that's exactly what phase 2 does. 6 consecutive days where the creator delivers massive value to their audience before asking for anything in return, teaching them, helping them, showing them what's possible. Now, here is where this usually gets tricky. The creator is the expert in their topic. So how are you going to create stories for them that deliver massive valuable content if you don't know anything about their topic? Historically, that will require a lot of expertise in marketing and dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of studying the creator's content. But today, you simply let AI analyze all of that content that they've already posted on Instagram and develop the sequences based on that. In 1 minute of analysis, the AI becomes an expert at any topic. It all starts on day 4. This is where the creator shows their audience why they should care. Think about it like going to a doctor. If the doctor walks in and immediately starts listing medications without explaining what's wrong, you'd be confused. But when the doctor first explains what's happening, why it's a problem, and what happens if you don't fix it, now you're listening. Now you're ready for the solution. Day 4 is the diagnosis before the treatment. Here are the 4 things the creator does on the 4th day. First, they show you what's possible, painting the picture of the transformation. Second, they explain why the old way doesn't work, calling out the broken system. Third, they share their own story of how they figured this out personally. And fourth, they teach one simple concept that shifts how the audience thinks about the problem. That's it. And you will see this 4 element in the stories that the specialized AI creates. It opens up with here's what's possible in the next 90 days. And then it pivots to the old model is broken to then telling their story. Let me tell you why I'm showing you this. And finally, it finishes by teaching them one simple concept. Now, here's the key concept I want to teach you today. Now, the audience understands why this matters. They see the creator as someone who can guide them. We created authority, but here's the thing about authority. Authority alone can feel distant. It can feel cold, like a lecturer simply talking down to their students. Day 5 is where you balance that authority with something that pulls them closer, vulnerability. Think about the difference between a lecture and a campfire conversation. In a lecture, one person stands up on stage and talks. Everyone else listens from a distance. Around a campfire, though, everyone is on the same level. Stories are shared, guards come down, real connections form. Day 5 is where the creator steps off the stage and sits around the campfire with their audience. That activates the trust button. And remember when I said buy button 5 and 10 are the most powerful ones? This is 5, trust. When people trust you, everything becomes easier. They listen more, they believe more, they buy more. So how do we create trust in practice? By engaging in public conversations with the audience and by showing character flaws. Now, they don't just respect the creator, they feel connected to them. They understand why this matters. They trust the person teaching them, okay? That's exactly what day 6 accomplishes. Here, you present a clear methodology of what the creator teaches, steps that they can follow, a simple framework of 3 to 5 steps, giving their audience some valuable info that they can already implement. But it needs to be actionable and specific, something that they can implement today. When someone gives you genuine value, you feel a natural pull to give something back. That is the reciprocity buy button. And here again, if you don't know how to come up with the 3 to 5 step framework for what the creator teaches, it simply doesn't matter, okay? Because the specialized AI comes up with that entire framework for you. Then the stories look something like this. Can you see how each one is covering a different pillar of the framework that the AI developed? That is the day 6 done. Okay, let's go ahead and pause for a second. And let me have a nice swig of tea. That's a lot of stories, okay? How's everyone doing so far? Is your head hurting a little bit? Okay, is this a lot to handle? I get it. I told you at the beginning this would be technical. Okay, we just covered 6 days. 6 buy buttons, each one building on the previous one. Now, I know you might be thinking, man, this is a lot to remember. How am I supposed to keep track of all this? Remember, you need to simply keep in your mind, you don't need to keep track of any of this, okay? As long as you have the right specialized AI tools, you just need to click the buttons, okay? Doing this manually, that's gonna require a lot of work and specialized knowledge. But with the right AI, anyone can do this. Remember our GPS analogy. I'm walking you through the route so that way you know what it looks like. You don't need to keep track of the entire route or know from the top of your head when to take each turn. The GPS will do all of that work for you. Just like here, you don't need to know how to activate all these buy buttons yourself. The AI will do all of that work for you. So type "I'm here" in the chat if you're following along and you are ready to keep going. All right, love it. Let's continue. Day 7. By this point, something powerful is happening. People aren't just consuming, they're implementing. Maybe someone tried this day 6 framework. They got a small win. Someone else saw immediate results. The creators' DMs are flooding with excitement. The comments are buzzing. Day 7 is where you weaponize that. Think about walking into a restaurant, okay? 2 restaurants side by side. You don't know how good the food is in either of them. One is empty, the other one has a line out the door. Which one would you guess had the better food? Okay, probably the one with the line, right? Because if that many people want to eat there, it must be good, right? That is social proof, and it's one of the most powerful psychological forces in human decision making. Here, the creators reshare wins, okay? The comments, the DMs, the wins, everything, okay? They feature someone who got results in 24 hours from the day 6 framework. They count out loud, 427 people DM me, thousands of people shared yesterday's story. That is the social proof buy button. Now they're not just interested, they're invested. They've seen others succeed and they don't want to miss out. Then day 8 is when you plant the seed for the offer. For doing this, you need to walk them through what life actually looks like with the solution. Imagine you wake up tomorrow and you have the complete system. Here is exactly what happens. Step 1 is handles. Step 2 connects automatically. Step 5, you're already seeing results. Within 30 days, this is your reality. You are making them feel what it's like to own it. This is the story trigger. Days 4 to 7 were about them, their problems, their journey. Day 8 is about the solution, what life actually looks like with it. And at the end, we mentioned the product for the first time. I've been working on something, a complete system that does exactly what I just walked you through. I'm opening access to it soon. Very limited spots, details tomorrow. That's it. No price, no pressure, just a simple mention. So that by day 10, when the cart opens, they're not hearing about the product for the first time. They've been thinking about it for 48 hours. They've already imagined owning it. So then you're not introducing a product, you're giving them access to something they already want. Now, let me explain the last day of the second phase, day 9, okay? The final 24 hours before money starts hitting your account. This day has 2 simple jobs. Job 1 is to answer questions. By now, people have questions, okay? They have doubts, they have concerns that they haven't yet voiced. So we go ahead and make sure the creator posts. Before doors open tomorrow, I want to make sure that you have 0 doubts. Drop every question below, nothing is off limits. And then actually answer them in stories. Every unanswered question is a sale that you're losing out on tomorrow. Job number 2, make tomorrow unmissable. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., doors open. Limited spots. Once they're gone, they are gone. Every story, every response ends with tomorrow at 10 a.m., be ready. Think about it like a concert. The band doesn't just show up and play. They announce the date. They remind you. They build excitement. By the time the show starts, you've been counting down for days. That, my friend, is the anticipation buy button. All right. We just covered 9 days. We're getting to the last stage of the formula. Now, I don't want you guys to get too caught up in the actual day by day. The genius part here is how everything connects, okay? Following this 14-day Instagram story sequence is like owning a Ferrari with an automatic transmission. Even if you've never driven one before, all you need to do is press the gas and brake, okay? The engineering handles everything else. The car has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of horsepower under the hood, but when you operate it, okay, when you operate a 1,000 horsepower machine, it operates like a Honda Civic, okay? That's the exact case here as well. When you use AI to build all this for you, it all flows like one smooth system. I mean, so far we have covered the 9 buy buttons. Can you already notice how we are creating massive momentum leading up to the sale here? Can you see why by the time we open the offer, people buying becomes the next logical step when you follow this sequence correctly? And during the next 5 days, that is when all this momentum we've built turns into cash. Days 1 to 3, you spark the fire. Day 4 to 9, you poured gasoline on it. Day 10 to 14, you're watching the explosion. And if you haven't gone to this point in the sequence, if you have gone to this point in the sequence, I should say, Congratulations, you already won the battle. So when the cart opens on day 10, you're not convincing anyone. You are unleashing desire that's been building for 216 hours straight. The first 24 hours, 30 to 40% of total sales, not because you're pushing, but because they are starving for access. Days 11 to 12, you keep the momentum roaring. Day 13 turns up the heat to insane levels. By day 14, that's where 40 to 50% of fence sitters make their move in the final hours. By the time the offer closes, you have transformed 9 days of desire into money, real money. That is phase 3. Let's get into it. So from there, we arrive at day 10, money day. This is where we make the offer available to the public. The doors unlock. Now, day 10 and 11 and 12 all activate the same buy button, fear of missing out. It's that feeling when everyone around you has joined something and you are left behind. And as I said previously, this one and the trust buy button are the most important ones. If you nail this part of the sequence using FOMO correctly, people will almost beg to buy the product. You open with maximum energy. It's here. Doors are open. This is what you've been waiting for. Then we simply explain, what's the product? What do they get? How much? What bonuses? What transformation? Okay. Then comes the secret weapon of day 10. Early buyer FOMO. Within the first 2 to 3 hours, people start buying and you amplify that, okay? Sarah just joined, Michael's in, Jessica grabbed her spot 8 minutes ago, okay? You're not making this up, it's real. People are buying. And when someone sees that, their brain goes into panic mode. Wait, people are already in? What if this fills up? What if I miss out? That's the FOMO buy buttons crushing their hesitation. And here's the beauty of day 10. Typically, 30 to 40% of your total sales of your total sales happen in these first 24 hours, not because you're forcing anyone, but because they're ready. You basically spend 9 days getting them ready. That's day 10, okay? And by the end of the day, money is flowing in. Now, at this point, you've captured the hot buyers and the ones who are waiting for this moment. Now, you might be asking, what about everyone else? The ones who need a little bit more nudging? That's really what days 11 and 12 are for, talking to the almost ready crowd. Day 11 has one job, keep the momentum roaring. The hot buyers already joined on day 10, but there's a second wave sitting on the fence. They're interested, they want it, but they are still thinking. Day 11 is you watching from the sidelines while everyone's already inside. You turn day 11 into social proof avalanche. Now, this is not just a few screenshots. It's an absolute flood. Buyers are sharing their excitement. New members are introducing themselves and people are already implementing. The community is growing in real time. When fence sitters see this, they realize they're missing out while everyone else is moving forward. When you do something, I was going to say, then you do something day 10 you didn't do. You zoom in on one specific feature, okay? Guys, here's just one thing you get. This single component alone is worth more than the entire price. And you break it down completely, what it does, how it works, and the result that it creates. Why? Because fence sitters need a value refresh. They saw the full offer yesterday, but now it's blurry. This makes it sharp again. By the end of day 11, fence sitters see 3 things. Everyone's joining, the value is massive, time is running out, and that combination converts. Let's see how it would be in practice, okay? Now, day 12, same FOMO buy, I should say same FOMO buy button, okay? But this time we're going ahead and we are demolishing objections. You're removing every excuse they have left. By day 12, the people who haven't bought yet have questions. What ifs? What if this doesn't work for me? What if I don't have time? What if I can't figure it out? Day 12 handles all of this with a comprehensive FAQ. You address every objection directly. Here is what happens if you don't have time. Here's what happens if you're a beginner. When you answer objections head on, you're not just providing information, you're building trust. You're showing, I'm not hiding anything. I'm not dodging concerns. I want you to make the right decision with full clarity. And here is where FOMO comes back in. While you are answering questions, you are also showing other people that other people aren't waiting, okay? They've already moved past these concerns and joined. Now, a lot of people ask me this question, and here is what I told them. And most of them are already inside right now. This creates a subtle but powerful message. Your questions are valid, but don't let them paralyze you while everyone else moves forward. By the end of day 12, the fence sitters have no excuses left. Now we hit day 13, and this is really where we activate urgency at a max potency. Urgency says, look, the doors are closing in 24 hours. This opportunity is gone forever. Days 13 and 14 both use urgency. Day 13 is the warning shot. Day 14 is the final countdown. Here is how day 13 works. You make the 24-hour deadline impossible to ignore. Tomorrow, at this exact time, the cart closes, and once it's closed, access is gone. No extensions, no exceptions. And by the way, this isn't a marketing tactic. Like, the deadline is actually real. Then you paint what they would lose if they don't act. you're forcing them to confront the cost of inaction. But day 13 isn't just doom and gloom. You're also creating an event atmosphere. Show the momentum, the energy, the final push happening in real time. This combines urgency with a touch of FOMO. Everyone's moving. The clock is ticking. What are you waiting for? Now, we're heading into day 14, the final battle, and this is where the doors slam shut, where 40 to 50% of the fence sitters finally rip off the band-aid and make their move. Day 14 is an all-out assault on hesitation. You wake up swinging. This is it. Final day. Cart closes tonight at midnight. After that, gone. No second chances. This is always the craziest day, by the way. Urgency and FOMO at all-time highs. Then you shift into full countdown mode. 6 hours left, 3 hours left, 1 hour left, 30 minutes left, 10 minutes left. When the clock hits zero, you shut it down hard. Cart close. Now the focus is on delivering the best results possible for everyone who joined. Then you flip the energy, gratitude, community, welcome. Thank you to everyone who made the decision. You're inside. The journey starts now. The people who joined feel like they made it. The people who didn't feel like the door actually closed in their face. And that is the full 14-day Instagram launch formula executed to perfection. All right, let's go ahead and pause for a second. You just spent the last 30, 45 minutes with me learning something that most people would pay $10,000 for. The exact 14-day sequence, the exact 11 buy buttons, all 3 phases of the Instagram launch formula. The same psychology me and my team used to collect over 8 figures in a single week, and we've done that multiple times already. The same strategy the top players in the industry use to turn followers into serious money. I gave you the complete system for free. Why? Because I don't make money when you learn, okay? I make money when you execute. When you close a creator, when you run this formula, when you collect your first 20, 30, 50K, that is when WAP grows. That's when I win. You are literally walking people from, yeah, I follow that person to, look, I need to buy it. This is an unfair advantage compared to those who don't know how it works. So everything I just taught you, it's yours. Now, I want to hear from you. After spending all this time learning this with me, do you think that this formula works? Better than that, do you see how if you follow these 11 steps precisely, all you need is a micro creator to apply this to? Drop "I'm sure" in the chat if you believe this. All right, great. Well, now, as you've seen, there's a lot to get right with this formula, okay? And here's the thing. In case you mess anything up along the way, you won't really know up until day 14 when the offer closes and the final numbers come in. If you miss one trigger, well, then the entire chain breaks. If you execute day 6 wrong, day 7 doesn't hit as hard. If you forget to seed the offer on day 8, day 10 feels like it came out of nowhere. And that's why it's so important to have the right specialized AI executing this entire sequence for you. This way, not only do you turn 60 hours of work into 45 minutes, but most importantly, you execute every trigger correctly from your very first partnership. There are little to no flaws when the AI executes this for you, okay? You need to understand that the AI knows exactly how to follow all 3 phases, 14 days, and hit all 11 buy buttons precisely. All you need to do is feed it with the creator's Instagram link and hit generate. For example, all of those examples I showed you throughout this entire session, I didn't write any of those, not a single word. And here's the crazy part. That type of content, just a year ago, I would have paid a professional copywriter tens of thousands of dollars in order to script it. It would have taken them weeks, maybe months to write all 14 days of content with that level of psychological precision. And today, an AI did it in less than 1 hour, okay? So do you understand how incredible it is that AI has turned one of the hardest and most valuable tasks in the world, turning followers into money, into something that literally anyone can do when they have the right tool? And do you think that if you had access to this exact same tool, you too could follow the steps and create stories exactly like these ones that I've been showing you throughout this presentation? So with that, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you the latest version of Monetize. Monetize is our complete done-for-you solution to get this entire process done for you. It's an entire business in a box. Everything you need to become a shadow operator, from finding creators to building products to launching them with a 14-day story sequence and collecting money. Everything you need, all in one place, starting with Ghostwriter OS, the exact tool that you are going to use to generate every single sequence we've broken down today with the 14-day Instagram story sequence, okay? All 14 days, all 11 psychological triggers, all this intelligence is pre-programmed into Ghostwriter OS for you. So that way, this entire process gets executed perfectly for you using AI. Now, Let me show you exactly how Ghostwriter OS works. It is a collection of promptless AI agents that generate all the assets that you need without you having to give it any prompt. But here is what we built specifically for shadow operators. It is a dedicated agent that executes the exact 14-day Instagram story sequence that I just taught you. Not a simplified version, not inspired by it, the exact 3 phases, the exact 14 days, the exact 11 psychological triggers in perfect sequence. Here is the complete process. Step number 1, you're gonna paste the the creator's Instagram link and answers 2 to 3 very simple questions about them. Then all you need to do is select the agent you want and click generate, as you've seen in practice already. It takes about 60 seconds for each one of the days that you generate this for. You don't need to know any complex details about the creator's methodology or spend weeks researching their audience. Ghostwriter does all this for you. Now, here's what makes Ghostwriter OS different from any other AI tool that you've seen. It is not just built for the Instagram launch formula, okay? Inside Monetize, we apply 17 different monetization strategies with our clients. The 14-day Instagram sequence is just one of them. And Ghostwriter OS has a dedicated AI agent for each strategy. We've got live webinar funnels, we've got email sequences, we've got VSL scripts, we've got affiliate campaigns, we have launch events, all 17 methods. You are not just getting one agent, you are getting an entire arsenal of AI agents ready to handle everything you throw at them. So you choose which strategy you want to use for this creator. For today's example, you're going to select the 14-day Instagram launch sequence. Click it. Now Ghostwriter knows exactly which framework to apply. Now you click generate day 1 and Ghostwriter creates the complete investment trigger content, okay? If you generate day 2, it creates the identification trigger content. Day 3, 4, 5, all the way through to day 14. Each one hitting the exact buy buttons that we mapped out yesterday in the exact order with 0 room for error. You're not writing anything. You're not prompting the AI. You're not hoping you got the psychology right. You simply click generate, you copy the result, and you send it to the creator. They post on their stories, and voila, done. A few clicks, and that is all you need to do. Okay, as I said, you do not need to trust yourself. You simply need to trust the software. With Ghostwriter OS, the 14-day formula isn't something that you need to remember or execute anymore. It is literally pre-programmed into the AI itself. You cannot mess this up even if you tried, because you are not the one executing the formula, the AI is. So now, if you could execute the 14-day Instagram sequence perfectly with Ghostwriter doing all of the work, do you now understand that if you find one creator, the only thing do you understand that that is the only thing stopping you from having your first successful shadow operating partnership? Think about it. The formula works. The AI executes it flawlessly. The only variable left is, do you have a creator to apply it to? Now, with Ghostwriter doing it for you, that's real. The only remaining gap will be finding the creator. But even with that, we thought of it, okay? We knew that this might be something that you would struggle with. So when you join Monetize, my team will manually go through the process of identifying creators with high revenue potential and compile a hand-picked list of 100 unique creators for you. That is not shared creators that everyone else will get. That is your own unique 100 creators. We are gonna do this part for you. Now, why 100? Let me explain the math here. Back when I taught my agency programs, people were charging thousands of dollars up front, okay? And with that being said, when you were going to business owners and asking them for thousands of dollars up front, on average, it took 100 contacts to close 2. That was the average back then when, as I said, you had to go to business owners and ask them for money up front. Now, imagine this. You are not asking creators to pay you anything up front. You are offering them the opportunity to make them money. So logically, you shouldn't even need 100, okay? But I want to reduce your risk as much as possible here. So I'm giving you the full 100 list. Now, here's what happens when one of them says yes. You need a product for them to sell. And that's where Synthesize AI 4.0 comes in. That is the most powerful digital product creation engine in the world. Most people mess this part up completely. They pick the wrong topic. They guess what the audience wants. They structure it poorly. Synthesize is like having a product architect who already knows the creator's audience better than they do. You take the creator DNA that Ghostwriter already built, you paste into Synthesize, which then analyzes everything. Then it gives you the top 20 product ideas that will actually sell to that specific creator's audience. You pick one, it builds the complete outline, and done. The creator simply delivers it live, like I'm doing right now with you. No filming, no editing, just show up, teach, and collect money. Think about this for a second. What would it mean for your results if you never had to guess, will this product idea actually sell? Because AI analyzes the creator's audience, identifies their exact pain points from real comments, and gives you 20 proven product concepts ranked by revenue potential. Last time we open monetized last year, our users who joined went on to make 15 million in the first 90 days through our ranked monetized mania competition. And by the way, a lot of them actually created their products using Synthesize AI. So I'm sure you can understand why Synthesize AI is priced at $2,999 a year, especially when you consider the huge costs that come with running this sort of high demand task with AI. And I am very happy to let you know that you get it at no extra cost when you enroll Monetize today. When you realize the creators have already created all the content and knowledge needed, and Synthesize organizes it into an easy to consume actionable format that their audience will pay for, doesn't this remove the single biggest mental barrier stopping people from becoming shadow operators? So now you have the product. Congratulations. Next, you need to launch it. Now, as I said, the 14-day Instagram story sequence is just one of 17 monetization methods we have. And that's exactly what I will share with you inside the shadow operating playbook. Think of it like this. Ghostwriter is your calculator. The shadow operating playbook is your math textbook. One does the work for you, and the other one teaches you exactly when to use it and why. It walks you through everything step by step, how to find creators, how to message them, what to say when they say yes, how to onboard them, how to apply all 17 different monetization strategies. You will literally watch over my shoulder as I build actual digital products, see every mistake I avoid, every shortcut I take, every breakthrough moment that separates winners from everyone else. Think of it as having me as your own personal trainer, but instead of building muscle, we're building your financial freedom. So, can you see how the playbook gives you the strategic understanding of when and why to use each tool, while Ghostwriter and Synthesize actually execute the entire work for you? Meaning you have both the knowledge and the automation working together. And finally, where does this entire operation actually live? Flowsy, this is your mission control center, okay? Your 100 creators, we are gonna manually load them in within your own CRM, so that way you're gonna have it and you're gonna manage these creators and all of your outreach efforts there. Now, we didn't just give you the software, we gave you the entire operating system. Don't you understand how having your own CRM preloaded with 100 creators makes the process of closing your first shadow operating partnership as easy as it could humanly be? Now, you might be thinking, okay, man, this is everything I need, okay? And honestly, it is. But let me ask you something. What's the only possible way you could still fail with all of this? You get stuck, all right? You have questions, okay? You're not sure how to handle a specific situation with your creator, and you have no one to ask. Well, what if you needed to get an answer directly from me? Normally, the only way you can get one-on-one access to me is by becoming an enterprise client at our consulting firm. We have hundreds of clients paying $25,000 for this level of access. But here is what we built specifically for our monetized clients. And this is only available until the end of today, okay? This is a webinar exclusive bonus. It's called Ask Eman. Think of it as your personal shadow advisor. We have trained Ask Eman on over 3,000 hours of my content, hundreds of videos, internal workshops, internal client calls, internal team meetings, consulting calls with my $25,000 clients. So now, anytime you're stuck, you just ask me. If you don't know how to apply something, ask Eman. If you got stuck and don't know what to do next, ask Eman. If you're not sure the best way to handle a creator's objection, just ask Eman. It answers exactly the way that I would, with the same reasoning, the same strategies, and the exact same frameworks. And here's the crazy part. One of our enterprise clients who paid us $250,000 to work with us one-on-one, well, he sent me a question on WhatsApp the other day. But before I could respond, because I was actually in New York checking in on our fifth floor expansion for our WAP headquarters. So I was there, and as I said, this is wasn't an active client at the time, but he was a client that, as I said, paid $250,000 to work with myself and my team on a one-to-one basis over the space of a few months and basically train his team. So this is like the top level, you know, some of the most advanced questions that you could get. And before I had time to respond, he basically messaged me this. He goes, this is what Ask Eman replied, pretty good NGL, because he sent me a long question, and instead he just asked Eman, okay? He sent me the screenshot, and I literally thought to myself, this is exactly what I would have said. That is how accurate this thing is, okay? So even if everything goes sideways, even if you hit a situation that you've never seen before, even if you're completely stuck, you have me available 24/7 as your mentor and as your coach. This is, as I said, literally having me as your personal shadow advisor. So let me ask you this. If the only way you could fail is by getting stuck without knowing what to do next, and now you have an AI trained on literally 3,000 hours of my knowledge that answers your questions 24/7, Doesn't that mean that failure becomes almost impossible? When you think about it, what's actually more valuable? Having all the tools and the systems, or having someone who can guide you through every decision, every roadblock, every I don't know what to do here moment, and you are getting both. But here's the thing, Ask Eman is only available if you join Monetize before the end of today. At 11:59 p.m. EST, this bonus disappears, okay? It will not be available tomorrow. It won't be available next week, okay? It will only be available, actually, I should say, until the end of today's live, all right? So I think this time we ended up going a little longer. So yeah, once we end off today's live, until the rest of the day at 11 p.m. EST, that is when it will go away, okay? So this is really your only shot at having me as your shadow advisor, and you get it for free inside Monetize. After today, if you want this level of access to my knowledge, you're gonna need to become one of our enterprise clients. Again, that starts at $25,000, and that's even if we have availability at that time. Now, if you thought we were done, beyond Ask Eman, which is today's only bonus, we also have 2 additional bonuses inside Monetize. First is your consulting.com certificate. This officially recognizes you as a consulting.com qualified operator. This way, when you're reaching out to creators, you can tell them that you are certified by the #1 consulting firm in the digital product space. Instant authority, instant credibility. Can you see how having an official certification eliminates the who are you and why should I trust you objection before it even comes up? Finally, I'm going to light a fire under your ass with an even bigger reason to take action and become a shadow operator. I'm giving you a golden ticket to the 3rd edition of our Monetize Mania competition. So let me tell you how this works. Starting next Tuesday, we are kicking off a 90-day competition between everyone who joins Monetize. 90 days from now, the 5 individuals who finish at the top will get a complimentary seat at the consulting.com Quantum Mastermind. That is our exclusive mastermind experience that clients pay $25,000 to join. Now, for our last mastermind event, we literally rented out one of the best vineyards in the world for our consulting.com clients. We spent hundreds and thousands of dollars to book out the entire place. We spent 3 days there masterminding about online business. So if you finish at the top of the Monetize Mania leaderboard, you're going to get to sit and spend 3 days together behind closed doors in the same room as people making $100, $200, even $500,000 a month from their shadow operating business. You're going to get to personally network with them and learn their strategies. How insane an opportunity would it be for you to sit in the same room as the top shadow operators in the world today? That is the opportunity you get when you join Monetize. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what all this is worth. Ghostwriter OS, just in the last 6 months alone, I've paid this company over $530,000 in licensing fees. Here are the bank wires of each payment to prove it, okay? So I'm paying almost $100,000 a month to make this available to you inside Monetize. Synthesize AI 4.0 is listed at $2,999 per year standalone. Plus, I've gone ahead and preloaded it with an extra $250,000 in AI credits for you to use. You also get a yearly plan of Flozy. Now, normally this is $1,068 a year, but you're going to get that entirely for free. The Shadow Operating Playbook. I've historically sold similar programs for $1,495, just the program standalone, plus the 100 pre-vetted creators, which takes weeks of manual work from my team. You're going to get the Monetize Mania tickets. That's $25,000 a pop normally, so that's $125,000 in bonuses just from that. And you're going to get Ask Eman. The only other way to ask me questions directly is to become a $25,000 enterprise client of ours. So just based on how much it's cost me to put this entire thing together, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you're not paying anywhere near that for how much this has cost me. Now, I'm sure with all that being said, you can understand how it would be totally easy for me to charge $10,000 for this, and it would still be worth it. At $5,000, it's an insane deal, which is why it's an absolute no-brainer for you to sign up right now at a special price of $1,995. And yes, financing is available if you need it. In fact, we have the most flexible financing you'll find anywhere. Now, the only question is, are you ready to take advantage of this opportunity and become a shadow operator? If so, here is what happens next. In just a moment, I'm going to drop a link for you to join in the comments. When I drop that link, you have a decision to make. You can either take everything we've talked about today and file it away as interesting information, and just basically go back to what you've always done, or you can take action right now and take the first step to become a shadow operator in the next 90 days. The choice is yours, but remember, this exact offer with all these bonuses will never be available again. So if you're ready to finally build an online income using AI without requiring you to put your face out there or have any previous experience, then click the link that I'm dropping in the live chat in 3, 2, 1, now. In case you can't click it, just go to join Eman and it will take you to the same page. You're going to be redirected to a secure checkout page. Choose the payment option that makes the most sense to you. And let's go ahead and start building and working on closing your one partnership today. Now, on top of all this, I want to offer you an insane guarantee to back this up. This is a better than money back guarantee. It is a work with you until you win guarantee. Here is how it works. You don't just get access to the tools in the system. You get me and my team committed to working with you until you close your first creator partnership and make at least a 10x return on your investment. Not until you feel ready, not until you understand everything, but until you actually land a creator and have a partnership that pays you and pays you well. If it takes 3 months, we're there. If it takes 6 months, we're there. If it takes a year, we're still there. Throughout this entire time, we keep giving you updates, new training, new support, new strategies, more done for you, exactly like we have already done for our current users 3 times last year. I just gave you my word. Now let me show you my action. Recently, we discovered a new method to get digital product sales insanely fast. Now we could have took that and sold it for $2,000 extra. And I know that many people would have taken that, but instead I told you, I'm never going to charge you for updates until you succeed. So what did I do instead? I hosted an entire 4-week workshop within the Monetize community, breaking down this method during a shit ton of live sessions, completely free. By the way, you can even watch the recordings in the community when you join. Every single user who joined Monetize in January got the alpha version of Synthesize for $9.95. Since then, the software has undergone 2 complete overhauls. We've added dozens of new features that weren't ever promised. The 2.0 version, the 3.0 version, which already made an entirely new software, and now the 4.0 version with all the shadow operating modules. And every single one of our original customers got the 2.0, the 3.0, and the 4.0 version entirely for free. The clients were in awe when they got access to it for free, because this is the exact same version that, as I said, is listed for $2,999. They got all this and no extra charge. Ghostwriter, I have to pay almost $100,000 per month to license it. I pay per seat. And the original users of Monetize, they weren't promised this. I still gave access to all of them for free. And those were thousands of seats I had to pay for. Then I created the Shadow Operating Playbook. Was that included in the original package we launched? No. I could have easily sold it for an extra $1,500 like I've done tens of thousands of times with my previous program. So what did I do instead? I gave it to all the Monetize users for free. Then I acquired a company called Consultant.com. That is their previous office in Manhattan. At the time I acquired it, their flagship program sold for almost $2,000, and over 20,000 customers had paid them that amount for this program. I paid $1.7 million in a clean wire to acquire this, okay? Now, before I acquired it, they'd made almost $80 million in sales. Do you know how many times I sold this $2,000 program after the acquisition? 0. Instead, I gave it to all my customers for free. Just a few weeks ago, a few of my pro users had a 90-day consulting package that was coming to an end. What did I do? I renewed the package for every single one of them that still hadn't 10x their investment for another 90 days, just to make sure that they were taken care of. And these are just a few of the recent examples. So when I say we work with you until you win, I mean it. And as I always say, what you need is the ability to create money on demand, the skill of turning a creator's audiences into dollars in your bank account. Because once you have that skill, once you've closed that first partnership, all of your problems disappear. You're not worried about money anymore, okay? You're not stuck in the 9-to-5 grind if you don't want to. You get to make decisions from a place of abundance, not necessity. And that's worth infinitely more than a $1,995 investment. That's why the guarantee, okay, is what it is. The guarantee is work with you until it does, period. Okay, it's simple. You have to close your first creator partnership and 10x your investment, or we will keep working with you until you do. Because with this business, you only need to get this right once. One partnership can completely change your entire life situation. That is what I call your turning point. The moment your online income surpasses your main income stream and covers all of your living expenses. No boss tells you what to do. No one controls your schedule. No one puts a price on your time. That is the moment you reclaim ownership of your life. And the last time I opened Monetize, I helped thousands of people achieve that. Now I'm giving you the same opportunity. So as I said, you really have 2 options here. Either you succeed and close your first creator partnership, or we keep working with you until you do. The only way for you to lose is to not try. Plus, your investment is protected with a full 7-day refund policy. If for any reason you don't like what you get inside Monetize, email support@monetize.com within 7 days. 100% refund, no questions asked, process within 48 hours. I'm taking all the risk here. You literally have none. So here is exactly what happens after you click the link in the comments. You're going to land on a secure checkout page. It takes 2 minutes to complete. You're going to choose your payment option. Financing is available if you need it. The second you complete the checkout, you get instant access. The welcome email hits your inbox immediately with your login credentials. You log into WAP, everything's waiting for you. Ghostwriter OS, Synthesize AI, the Shadow Operating Playbook, your 100 pre-vetted creators in Flowsy, Ask Eman, all of it. Day 1, start the playbook, explore the tool. Week 1, build your outreach to 100 creators, generate your first monetization game plan with Ghostwriter. Week 2 to 4, close your first creator, use Synthesize to build their product, to generate the 14-day sequence. Day 30 to 60, launch, execute the formula, and watch sales come in. That is the path from checkout to your first creator partnership generating revenue. 30 to 60 days is possible if you execute. The link is in the comments right now. I've given you the formula, I've given you the tools, I've given you the creators. The only question left is, what are you going to do with it? So let me go ahead and remind you that Ask Eman disappears at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time today. Okay, 11:59 p.m. Eastern time today, Ask Eman will disappear as a bonus. It will be gone. The only other way to get this level of access to everything I know is by becoming an enterprise client, which starts at $25,000. So by giving away the software, do you understand how you basically have the exact same outcome for free? Okay, this only makes sense as a limited time bonus. And now, I want to bring on someone who's been watching this entire session with me, someone who's been taking notes on every question you guys have been asking in the chat and has also been with us during the previous days. I want to bring on Jason Fladlien. Now, Jason has generated over $100 million in sales for other people's products as a shadow operator. So until this live ends, Jason will be with us answering each one of your questions, clarifying everything that's confusing, breaking down the parts that feel complicated, and making sure you walk away from today with zero confusion about how this actually works. So with that being said, let's welcome Jason Fladlien.
Yo, what's up? How is it going, everybody? Legends, VIPs, future legends and future VIPs.
There you go.
Shadow operators from every corner of the world.
Smooth shadow operators.
Smooth shadow operators.